Hey, good morning, dads. Welcome to the Team Super Dad podcast. Get out of your comfort zone. One of the most important ways to increase your absolute masculinity and success in life is to get outside your comfort zone, write a bucket list, and do some crazy things. Without further ado, let's roll theme.
Welcome to Team Super Dad. Real dads creating their best lives ever. More time, more money, more fun. You are not alone. You're on Team Super Dad.
Hello, dads. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome. Oh, that's not a good way to start. Coughing in your ear. Thank you for joining me here today. It's the sun is finally out in the UK. It's hot, hot, hot. And this is one of my most exciting, or one of the parts I love most about the Power Code, our program, our roadmap for modern dads creating the life that they desire, not a life they feel stuck in. It is the get out of your comfort zone part of the reward section of the Power Code. Yes, the R in power stands for reward. And getting out of your comfort zone is one of the most important messages that we can talk about in any kind of coaching session or program or a weekend event. It really is about breaking you out of that routine, the humdrum day-to-day routine that, as we've talked about in routine inside of do the work, the W in the Power Code. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again, your brain literally goes to sleep. So getting out of your comfort zone, having a bucket list, it's not just an expression, even though clearly it is an expression you'd have all heard many times. But like most expressions, there is actually some truth underneath it that not everyone will have explored. So if you're joining me for the first time, great to have you here. Team Super Dad is my community for modern dads. We're business owning, career-minded men who want to have it all, not just the success, but also the family, the fun, and also the personal well-being, the health and fitness that gives you the energy to get through each and every day. So it's not a fitness program. It's not a parenting course. It's a program for you. It's about modern men recapturing their masculine energy so that they can be the leader in their life, so that they can maintain the level of attraction in their relationship, so they can be the role model to their children, and be the friend for the people around that they need them to be. My girlfriend has just texted me, just loading the car and we're on our way. She is currently at the Snowdon. They're going to climb Mount Snowdon today, Britain's tallest peak. I think pretty sure that is the case. There's Ben Nevis is that in Scotland? I think it is in Scotland. we got to get clear on these things. But what I do know is Snowdon is a great climb, and she's off there doing that today. She's getting outside of her comfort zone. She's taking a bunch of her ladies from her menopause peace coaching program up to get out of their comfort zone. So I've written a few notes for today, which we'll go into. If you've got any comments and want to participate as we're live, then jump on, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, jump in the comments, and most of those will come through to me here inside this fantastic thing called StreamYard. Say hello. Let me know where you're at, where you're tuning in from. And of course, if you're watching the replay, you can still do that. And if you're listening to the podcast, the original crew, podcast subscription numbers keep growing up. So thank you for that. You could send me a letter or come and knock on my door, call me, whatever it takes. Of course, all the socials, I'm at Johnny Jensen, JONNIE JENSEN. And if you've got other podcasts which you listen to, let me know. I'm on a mission to get on to other people's podcasts over the rest of 2023. So by all means, let me know other podcasts that you listen to and think would be good for the Team Super Dad message. So the Power Code, right? The Power Code is 5 stages: purpose, ownership, do the work, engage, and reward. And whether you're looking at an individual project or an individual area of your life, or whether you're sitting there and in capturing everything about who you are and how you operate, then the power code is that structure for living. Purpose, having a clear vision of where you're going and an understanding of what your motivation is there, your why. Ownership, what is the energy in that endeavor, the toxic energy, the doubts, the concerns, the frustrations, and what are the positive versions of that? Your drives, the times that you've won before, the mindset that you need to have in order to succeed in that area. Then do the work. What's the structure that you need to put in place? What are the habits and routines? What do you need to plan and hold yourself accountable to? Who could hold you accountable to that? And then engage the people you put around you, your friends, your mentors, your family, and your peers. I think I'm going to change partners to peers, because people thinking that partners is like your wife or your girlfriend or something. So we're going to change partners to peers, which will probably mess me up, because I'll end up saying both for the next however many years it takes to get over that. But then on to reward, which is the most exciting bit, because if you're not having fun, then what's the bloody point? And it's not just about like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the pub at the end of the day, which is actually part of celebrating your day. I don't mean getting pissed and rolling in, but taking a moment to grab a coffee and actually enjoy it, or stop at the end of the day and have a glass of wine and actually sit back and credit your day, all you've achieved and done. And then the adventure part of it, the getting out of your comfort zone. If you're in your comfort zone, and the reason why a comfort zone is such a negative, dangerous place is that it's literally comfortable. Our brain, our survival mechanism wants to keep us safe. So when you get into your comfort zone, it can be quite exciting. When obviously, if you're heading for a target, you're working towards something, and you get there, well, then brilliant. You don't need to do anymore. Well, no, not at all, because stopping in the same place doesn't mean that you've reached the destination and that everybody else is going to stay behind you. No. An object in motion, I think it's Newton's first law, an object in motion stays in motion. So by virtue of that, if you stop moving and everybody else keeps moving forward, you're going backwards. And staying within the comfort zone will literally stagnate your growth. It will dull your life's vibrancy. But stepping out of your comfort zone, confronting challenges heading on, it will enable you to gain resilience and strength and wisdom. There's nothing greater than doing something new for triggering thoughts and emotions and creativity and energy inside of you. So, and obviously inside of that, if you're doing something that is an adventure, we talked today about bucket lists, we'll talk about bucket lists, but if you're doing something that is a stretch, something that takes you further than you've been in a particular area or experience, then it's going to increase your confidence, it's going to give you more motivation, and most importantly, all these things will invigorate your masculine energy. And that is right at the heart of all my work here at Team Superdad, is that that masculinity, the energy of man, is really so much of what is wrong and missing in today's world. Men have stopped being men. They've forgotten how to be men. And what drives me insane is this thing about toxic masculinity, which, sure, if we're talking about traditional role models, patriarchy, men being fucking just lazy shites, then yeah, there's space for a conversation about that. But the flip side of that is this woke, positive, masculine energy, is that it has too much of a feminine flavor. Not that feminine is bad. Feminine and masculine energies are innately good. We need them in a heterosexual and a gay relationship. We need both those energies in order for the relationship to really thrive. And so when as men we give up our masculine energy, and that means our focus, our drive, our charisma, our leadership, our willingness to step forward and take on new challenges, is that when the people we love see that is missing from us, then it creates friction inside them. It creates an uncertainty, a level of uncertainty, a lack of confidence and security by them towards us. And what women will do in that moment is that they will start to step into that masculine energy, because what they want is to feel secure. And so they will secure themselves if you don't. And I don't mean like, oh, they can't survive without you. I'm talking about strong, positive relationships. You know, our partners and our children, literally, you know, on the shoulders of giants, they stand. You know, that being you. And there's lots of other expressions about that. You know, like being the wings upon which your children fly, the wings upon which your wife flies. That's us lifting them up. You know, that's the kind of confidence and drive that we want to give the people around us that we love. So if you're not doing that for yourself, how the hell are you going to do it for other people? It's the importance of getting out of your comfort zone. So how do we get out of our comfort zone? On a basic level, it is about stretching yourself. So, and you'd have heard my expression many times about what happens when you stand in the shower each day and wash that fat, hairy ass of yours. That's the exact opposite of getting out of your comfort zone. It's a level of reality and realization that what you're doing is going backwards. It's dragging you down. You're putting on more weight. You're having less energy. You're sleeping worse. It's a complete reverse cycle, right? So getting out of your comfort zone in that respect is getting healthy. And like I said before, we're not a fitness program here, but fitness is a core part of our F5, our tracker, how we measure our effectiveness and the habits and routines in our life. So by getting fit and healthy, maybe getting out of your comfort zone would look like entering an event. On June the 17th, next weekend, we've got the Dirty Rotten Scramble down here in Kent. You can still register for that. If you go to teamsuperdad.com/DRS, then that will take you to the page. The mobile page looks weird for some reason, but still click the link and it will take you through to there. Or just search Google for Dirty Rotten Scramble, and it'd be good to have you part of the team down there. But it's a 10 or 30k mud run. You know, anytime you enter an event, a triathlon, a half marathon, a 10k run, go and do park run at the weekend. You know, where did you finish the first time you did it versus the last time you did it? This is about pushing your boundaries. But then as far as a bucket list goes, what are the things that you wanted to do? Where do you want to visit in the world? What are the experiences that you've heard about but never done? It could be as something as wondrous as the Northern Lights, or I always get this wrong, the thing in South America, the Machu Picchu, which is totally wrong, but it's pretty close. Machu Picchu. Haven't done either of those, but they're on the bucket list. And you know, you could think, oh well, they're on everyone's bucket list. It's because they're bloody awesome, right? Get out there and do them. Learning to surf, again, that's probably on a lot of people's bucket lists. But just because I'm pushing 50 next year, 49. I keep doing that now, taking an extra year off myself, even though I've only just turned 49. But just because you're getting older, these are the things that actually, if you've never done them, the idea that, oh, it's too late, oh, that's never going to happen, is absolutely going to cut you off at the legs. It's going to pull you backwards, because there's a sense that we're going down now. There's a sense that it's too late. And that's the exact opposite of everything we're doing here in Team Superdad. It's about grabbing your life by the balls and saying, do you know what? This is what we're bloody doing. This is where we're headed. That's the kind of person I am. Who am I doing it with? What people do I want to put around me? Which of my old uni mates want to come and experience this with me? So your bucket list, and by the way, your bucket list, don't just put massive things on there. Glenn, a dating dad, podcast co-host for a long time, he pointed out, you know, putting little things on your bucket list, on his bucket list, is doing the Rubik's Cube. Doing a Rubik's Cube. Turns out it's not actually that hard. It's just actually practice. You learn the set moves and then you can do it quite easily. But, you know, what are the easy things that you could do? What's, you know, Mount Snowdon. Maybe you can't climb, get to second base, ground zero on Everest or whatever, base camp at Everest. But could you jump in the car and drive to Mount Snowdon, or could you go to Yellowstone Park in America and hang out with Yogi Bear, but you can go and achieve challenges in your within an hour of your house, wherever that might be. Okay, so and what that is about is expanding your experiences in life. I have just picked up the guitar. My son has been learning, although he doesn't practice very much. Anyone got any tips on making your kid practice that is not hitting them with a stick? Please drop it in the comments. But yeah, expanding your experiences, knowing yourself as someone who is able to do these things, as someone who has achieved something. Buying a bloody paddleboard, right? In terms of experiences, buying a paddleboard a couple of years ago, and when the sun comes out finally, as it has done, just being able to drive somewhere, pump it up, and spend a couple of hours paddling up a river, stopping somewhere, grabbing a beer or a coffee, and paddling back, either on your own. If you're with a bunch of people, of course, you're chatting. If you meet a bunch of new people, that's an experience. There are attainable life experiences. You just got to go out and get them. And part of being in a group like Team Superdad is surrounding yourself with like-minded men. Too many people I speak to, one of their like dirty little secrets is, I just don't have enough friends. I just don't see my friends a lot. There's like a reluctance to admit it. There's almost like a sadness in many of my clients when they admit this. It doesn't come out early doors often. They might say, oh, I want to have more fun. But it's when you get into a deeper part of the conversation, or we're in one of the group sessions and we're talking about, what did you do with your friends this week? Who did you see? Because it's one of the measures of the Super Dad lifestyle is connecting with your friends on a weekly basis. And sooner or later, someone will go, I just don't have many friends. And that comes out of putting all your focus into your work and all your focus into your family. Something has to give, and it's more often than not our social life. So getting out of your comfort zone, creating a bucket list, going and stretching yourself with these new experiences, or going beyond what is your normal routine, will naturally put you around other like-minded men. When I was going through the breakup, one of the things I went and did was I joined a singing choir. I'd always had this idea that I was quite a good singer, even though Mrs. Morris, when I was 8 years old, she wouldn't let me audition for the school choir. I'm working on letting that go. I'm working on letting it go. 40 years in the doing. But being around, going and doing these experiences and putting yourself around other like-minded men will raise the bar in your life. Chatting, joking, having conversation, as bizarre as this might sound, it's also a habit. And it's one of the reasons why, if you've been very consumed in other areas, work and family, that the idea of going out and socializing seems quite daunting, because we're simply out of the habit of having conversations, of titting about and joking. So join a club, a triathlon club, a running club, a paddleboarding club, a singing choir, a climbing club, a karate club. Like, get out there and mix with a group of new people. Mountain biking, the classic one that lots of men inside of Team Superdad will be doing. It's incredibly important for your masculine energy to put yourself around other men who are on an adventure, who are taking life by the balls. And of course, being part of the Team Superdad community and the Power Code program is exactly part of that. And finally, inside of the, get out of your comfort zone and this conversation about your bucket list, it's also about being a role model. That masculine energy, as vital as it is inside of your relationship, it's also essential in terms of your of the role model you're being to your children. It shows resilience and determination and growth. It shows a drive to go out and do something. If you're in a running race or mud run and your children are coming there to watch you and they're soaking up the atmosphere and they're seeing you cross the finishing line, then you stand much greater chance of inspiring and influencing them around their own fitness. So you've got to be the difference. You've got to set the example. And of course, going back to that key point, you've got to raise the bar on your own life. This is literally getting outside of the comfort zone. So the power code is both our 28-day program, our growth program, and then the power code 90-day is where we really immerse ourselves and have our graduation weekend at the end of it. So get yourself registered for that by booking a 15-minute introduction call at teamsuperdad.com/15 call. That's /15 call. We're starting again in July. We'll be going right through that program. It's for modern dads who really, if you listen to this whole series we've done on the power code, it's about modern dads who want to take back control of their life so they can live with clarity and confidence and be the man and dad they want to be. This subject here, there's a reason that reward and this comfort zone conversation comes at the top of the power code pyramid. It's because it's everything that we're headed for. When you get up in the morning and go to work, or when you're dealing with another problem with your kids, or you're having some stress with your partner about money or stuff that's got to get organized, this is what it's all for. If you haven't got something at the end of the day, or a holiday to look forward to, a date night, a weekend where you're going away with the family, if you've got nothing to look forward to, then life is always going to seem pretty tough and pretty dull. You know, there's a guy, I looked this quote up, right? But Neil Donald Walsh, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I was like, yeah, I just found that this week. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone, because who you are is not your day-to-day bullshit routine. Who you are is that vision you had of yourself as a kid, you know, the astronaut, the race car driver. When you got married, that awesome marriage, the family, the fun and adventure, the creating the success, the having the house you desire, the going on the holidays. Everything is about the life that you desired. And for many of us, we'll be succeeding in some parts of it. But if you don't have the joy and the fulfillment as well, if you don't have the energy inside of it, like you've got all this success, but it just doesn't feel that exciting, or you're burnt out by chasing the success and you're like, can I really carry this on? Then you've got to understand that you're running on empty, that unless you make an adjustment, unless you put a structure back in place that will bring your life back into check so that you can be that strong masculine role model that you need to see in the mirror, but that you also need to show to the people around you, then it's a downward spiral that you're going to struggle to get out of. And that's why so many men are struggling today. So I love that the R of power ended up in reward, because it's always where you're headed. It's something to look forward to, plans to look forward to, and memories to look back on. And when the people around you look at you, they'll be like, do you know what? He's always having fun. He's always on an adventure. And that's the kind of essence of masculine power that Team Superdad is here to actually give you. So what's on your bucket list? I told you a couple of things that are on mine. A couple of other obvious classics are that drive across America. I don't even know if it'll be fun, right? Maybe in a Winnebago, in a those big camper driver wagons. I think there's a part of me that would imagine it being like a road trip when I was 25 or 19. Like, would it be that wild, or would you even want it to be that wild? I don't know. What else? Oh, I don't think this is ever going to happen, but you know the Paris-Dakar rally where they race and drive down across Africa. That's on my bucket list. I've no idea how it would happen. You know, I mentioned Glenn earlier. He talked about his bucket list, and here's the magic of having a bucket list. By the way, I just jumping back before I wrap up. Glenn had on his bucket list to fly an airplane. Now he didn't know how that was going to happen, But by virtue of it being on the bucket list, he ended up having a conversation with someone where he was talking about his bucket list. Turned out she was a commercial pilot, and she said to him, well, I can take you up flying anytime you want. Within a couple of weeks, they were sat in a plane, and Glenn just thought he was going to go for a little fly around in this plane. So obviously planes have dual controls. So to a greater or lesser degree, she started the whole thing off. Then he actually took the plane up into the air, and they had a little fly around. I'm pretty sure he didn't land it, by the way. Pretty sure he didn't land it. But it was on his bucket list. It created a conversation. It created an event, and he was able to tick it off. What is on your bucket list, and how are you going to get it ticked off? The guitar is coming, Paris-Dakar Rally, and learning to surf. We'll have to wait a little bit longer for that. But thank you for joining me on today's podcast. If you're watching on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. If you're watching on the live, then make sure you come and join the Team Superdad group, teamsuperdad.com/group. And of course, share this with other men in your life. And the power code coming up in July. If you're not on our list, then you'll be missing out on the early bird discounts and the invitation. When it's full, it's full. So there's a good chance that will fill up from simply within my database and from the Team Superdad group. Get yourself over to teamsuperdad.com/group, and that will make sure you're on the list to receive the power code invitation. Outside today, enjoying the sun. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Let's get that theme up. Team Superdad out.
This has been Team Superdad. Find us at teamsuperdad.com. Join the program and create the best life ever for you and your children. You are not alone. You're on Team Superdad.